What's up, everyone? Welcome. I wanted to talk about Pluto going into retrograde. I had pulled some cards earlier today, and I just kind of sat with them for a little bit. So I kind of want to share with y'all what I got. All right. Um, Now Pluto, right, is a planet that is kind of in between worlds, right? It's from one phase to the next phase. So it embodies like destruction, transformation, rebirth, and renewal. So just think about all those different components with Capricorn attached to it. That's kind of what's going to be experienced for the next 5 months, I believe, until October the 8th is when all of this is going to end. But I kind of asked, what are the energies that are going to be surrounding us or surrounding Pluto in retrograde? And it was kind of interesting because I had to read up on it a little bit myself because, I don't know everything. So I just kind of wanted to know, what was in alignment with the cards that I pulled. And crazy enough, the cards, I guess they really don't lie, right? They really are on point. So the first card I got was the devil card. And the devil card, that's always about things that do not serve us. There's usually things that are of instant gratification, and it's something that never lasts long. It's things that give us a high, and we constantly chase that high, and we stay bound to that energy until we outgrow it or it becomes destructive. So that devil card, with this being the Pluto retrograde, this is asking us to kind of reevaluate the situations that we're in, reevaluate our life, reevaluate our mindset, and try to figure out what is it that we are attached to, that we continually try to chase this high, that leaves us bound, basically enslaved to whatever it is or whatever that drug is within our life. That could be like people, places, things, relationships, friendships, family ships, jobs, co-workers, things of that nature, old thought processes, habits, just things that just really weigh you down, and there's no potential for growth. It's just kind of keeping you stagnant, and you just do it because it's something that's out of habit. So that is one of the things that Pluto in retrograde is calling you to examine. Are those things that keep you stagnant and that really don't mean you no good. A lot of times we stay, like for relationships, for example, we stay stuck in relationships that really don't mean us any good. We're just used to it. It feels comfortable. We don't want to start over. Like that could be applied to so many things in life. It doesn't have to be relationships. It could be where you're living. Like you don't want to move, okay? You don't want to pack up. You don't want to start over at another place. Like moving takes a lot of energy, but when you do it, after you do it, you're gonna be like, dang, I wish I would have did that sooner, right? So that's what this double card is representing as far as this Pluto retrograde, the things we need to keep in mind. Next to it, we have this Tower card in reverse. So usually Tower upright talks about external change, right? External change outside other than us that's happening to us that happens very quickly. But with this Tower card in reverse, this is talking about internal change, okay? And this is being consciously aware of the internal change that needs to happen, okay? Because the devil card is also a spiritual being, right? He kind of focuses on the darker aspects of spirituality and consciousness. And the darkness is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, are you able to balance that type of energy out, okay? And are you able to be unbiased within that energy, and then always be able to remove yourself afterwards, okay? And then keep moving with your life. But this Tower card here, this is you being consciously aware of the changes that are happening within you. And that means outgrowing old situations. And when you are aware of the changes that are happening inside of you, you're able to change your outside, right? Your environment. So once you're aware of the things that no longer serve you, and you're consciously aware of that, you can make the changes that are necessary, and then you'll actually see things happening in your life, in your surroundings, in your atmosphere. Because a lot of times when we're stuck in this double energy, we're like, dang, how come this is always happening to me? How come I'm always picking the same type of man? Or how come I'm always picking the same type of woman? You know what I mean? It's like that cycle where you feel like you can't break. It's because you're neglecting of being consciously aware of where you're at with inside of yourself, and then you cannot change your outside because you're neglecting going inside of yourself. And then the Tower card, it always sits on top of this. I don't know, you guys probably can't see it, but anyways, this Tower card sits on top of this mountain. And this mountain, this does not have like a stable foundation, okay? A level, stable foundation, like a normal home would sit on, right? So when things are built on an unstable foundation, it's liable to come falling down, especially if there's like some sort of natural disaster or earthquake. This foundation is liable to crack and come falling down. So things in your life that were built on like a false premise, okay, like say you were in a I'm just using relationships as an example, but it doesn't have to be that way. Like say you got into a relationship, right? And maybe you were still in a previous relationship, or still have feelings in a previous relationship and never healed from that, and then you got into a new relationship. That's an unstable foundation. Or if a relationship was built off of lies, that's an unstable foundation. Or if you started a project, let's say you wanted to become an entrepreneur and didn't really do your homework and research, and you just kind of jumped all the way into it, that's an unstable foundation, and those things have a potential to fail. So what the Tower in reverse does is it allows you to be consciously aware of the foundation that you've built some things on, and it's going to give you an opportunity for you to change that, okay? So you can build things on a more steadier, stable foundation. Also, I feel like this can also be the earth, like the earth's the earth's core, like could definitely feel some sort of shaking up between this time, between now and October. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were some major earthquakes, okay, some shifting in the earth's core, because it's almost like that same energy of like as above, so below. If the stars and the planet, right, are going through this shift, which affects us as people, or whatever's living on the planet, like animals or plants or whatever the case may be, if it's affecting them or in us, then what's to say it can't affect the soil or the earth itself? So like just keep that in mind. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of things of that nature did not happen. I in my previous video that I did about the food shortage, I wouldn't be surprised if certain policies were changed within this time period. Just pay attention to the politics sector. I definitely feel as if though something could definitely happen or shift in that time. Because I was picking that up then as well in that food shortage video. But I don't know. These are just things to be aware. These are just some interesting things that I was picking up about this. So anything that has a foundation, can possibly have some sort of change or interruption, okay? Especially if it's something that causes stagnation or something that's been in place for a long period of time. That could be challenged. All right, so then we have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands, right, is usually in the upright position. This is someone who is really social. This is someone who is kind of like the life of the party, like a go-getter, really out there, creative, always about getting into new things, and just really in tune with the higher forces. So this could definitely be a witch, especially with this cat here. But this is someone who is very intuitive, okay? Very intuitive, but it's in the reverse, okay? So in the reverse, this is talks about being introverted, and being in a place of introspection, and not really necessarily giving your energy out to other people. The Queen of Wands can also be somebody who's empathic, especially with the intuition. So I think this could talk about reserving your energy, preserving your energy, and not necessarily giving too much to other people, but really recognizing the changes that need to happen within yourself, okay? And really paying attention to your intuition, because next to it you got the Queen of Cups. So this Queen of Wands is being introverted during this Pluto, right, in retrograde. And so while this Queen of Wands is being introverted, this Queen of Cups is kind of picking up that energy. And this is somebody who is more in their spiritual state, okay? This is someone who is emotionally balanced and really focusing on their subconscious mind and really being tapped into the universe, okay? And really is able to receive messages and is really tapped into that energy. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of different spiritual awakenings at that time, during this time. I also feel like a lot of us need to be a little open to how we receive information and kind of be mindful of that. I feel like there's going to be a lot of feeling, or like, I think it's clairsentient, clairognoscent type of things. I think that's the Listen, if I'm wrong, just kindly leave it in the comment section. But I just feel like it's going to be that type of thing where we're going to get a lot of feelings. You know what I mean? A lot of intuitive messages, and I think this is the time to really focus on those things and opening up and being a little bit receptive. Because after the Queen of Cups, we have the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups talks about spirit. This is also a very spiritual card, a very intuitive card. And it also talks about the five senses, the human senses, and being receptive. And using those senses to tap into spirituality and tap into the messages that spirit is trying to send you. So I honestly think there is going to be a lot of spiritual upgrades, but I think in order to be able to take advantage of that, we're going to have to be in a receptive mode and be open to what those can be. Because sometimes we get a little stuck in our ways, right? And we get stuck in how we normally do things or how we normally receive information. But if we're getting an upgrade, then that means that there's new things to be had, or doing things in a new way. And then you have the Moon card. So this is another spiritual card as well. And this is just things coming to the surface at this time. So like I said, I just feel like if there are false foundations that we are on or that we've built things upon. There's going to be things that are going to come to the surface, okay, that's going to come to light, that's going to force you to really deal with those situations. And this is a good thing because you don't want to be in a place where you're still reliving the same BS over and over again. That is exactly what happens when you don't deal with things head on, like you don't address things. You tend to like internalize that energy and like vibrate there, and then you just continue to attract the same experiences, the same people, you know, same shit, yada yada, over and over again. So definitely you gotta be aware of that kind of thing. But there's something about the Earth's core, okay? Just be on the lookout. I feel like for there to be some earthquakes, volcano, possibly like volcano movement, and maybe some tsunamis between this time. Just be kind of open for that, because I just feel like with Capricorn being an earth sign, and I feel like Capricorn gets to the core of things. Like Capricorn is a very structured sign, and they do things strategically how they're supposed to be done. So when the finished product is there, it is there, honey, okay? But I just think that those things could definitely happen. Also, this is a good time to do shadow work and do some inner child work, because we keep things from old situations that we've been in that have really been negative. So what we do is, my mind is saying residue. So it's like what we do is we build up all this sludge, spiritual sludge from all these experiences that we've had that we deemed as negative. And when we don't take care of that, what happens to a sink that has like a bunch of sludge and stuff inside of it, it gets clogged up. And that is kind of what happens spiritually. So this is a good time to do shadow work, okay? And delve into that inner child and see what's going on there. Is there something that you need to unload about that? I think this is a good time to really learn about yourself, you know? And learn about how you really are connected spiritually. Because I just don't think that it's not a bad time. But I think that there's things that will come up that will really shake the core of people, places, and things. Because we're all interconnected, right? But that's all I wanted to come on here and say, you guys. I don't know. Sometimes I just start rambling and talking. But I'm going to leave this here. I hope you guys have a blessed evening, noon, night, whenever you decide to click on this. But I'll talk to y'all